Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you how to pick up sleeve stitches, and this is a drop shoulder top down cardigan called the Everbloom cardigan that I will be releasing in April 2022. When that is out, I'll put the link below. For now, if you could subscribe and like, please. You can always unlike at the end of the video, but if you do like it, it really helps me out, and hopefully this is helpful for you too. So we're going to be picking up, like I said, sleeve stitches on a drop shoulder sweater, and that can actually look really differently than, say, a raglan, right, where you have live stitches on hold, and then you usually have to pick up a few stitches here, and that's the same for a top-down circular sweater as well. Drop shoulder is probably the easiest in my opinion. You're the least likely to have a gap at the armhole, so I'm happy to be showing everyone how we do this today. So I've already done the right sleeve. This is the left sleeve. As you can see, here's the cardigan opening. And what we're going to do is we always want the right side facing us, so the outside of the cardigan. We start right here, which is where the armpit is, and then we go clockwise around. So we're going to look at this sort of split here, and we're going to find this first stitch, and that's the one we want to pick up. But what we also want to do, which is really helpful, these needles are loud, is stick it in and pull up on that and see how much of a hole it's going to create. So that's not too bad, so we're going to pick that up here. When I first started knitting, it took me a while to realize that this is actually not an exact science, right? You'll find plenty of tips and tricks on YouTube that are really helpful about closing armhole gaps if you find them, but for me it's really on a case-by-case basis. So basically I'm going to go around, pick up all of these stitches, whoops, and we're going to see how it looks at the end. So you want to stick the needle in as if to knit. You want to make sure as you're going around that you don't end up doing this as if to purl. You want to make sure to always be knitting, otherwise you will be getting a seam on the outside of your sweater. So you're just going to create a loop with your yarn. I'm using Lion Brand Wool Ease held double, so you have no need to do a slip knot or anything. You're going to loop that around, you're going to pull it through, and then you're going to find, see that little guy, the next one, put it through, make sure you're taking your working yarn and not the tail, loop it around, pull through pretty gently. You can also, you can't really see, but with my the rest of my fingers here, I'm holding that tail so that it doesn't all pull through. In this particular pattern, you pick up to skip one, so we're going to skip this guy and go into this one. 1, 2, skip, 1, oops, 2, and then skip that one, 1, 2, skip, 1, 2, skip, 1, 2, skip, 1, 2, skip, skip, 1, 2, skip, 2, skip, you can of course fast forward if you don't want to watch me do this, but no rush. I'm working on taking things a little bit more slowly myself. So up here, actually this is a good place to show you. So when you get to this top seam here where you picked up for the front panels, it can get a little bit confusing because you've got this yarn here from where you tied off, you've got this, and it can be harder to see the stitches. And again, it doesn't have to be an exact science. So we're skipping this one, and there it is. So we're going to go here. 1, 2, skip, almost didn't skip that one. 1, 2, and the way I've got my camera set up here, it's actually going to be a little bit difficult for me to turn this sweater around. Let's see. Can she do it? Yes, she can. Okay. You want to make sure, actually another good tip, so you want to make sure you're using a long enough cable here. Like if you're using a smaller one for the sleeve, that's totally fine, but make sure you have a stitch, not a stitch marker, a stopper, right? Because the worst thing is you can go through and then this is just kind of like following you and coming out the other side. So we definitely don't want that to happen, but I'm not in danger here because of the length I have for my cable. So we're gonna keep going. We just picked up 2, skip 1, pick up 2, and occasionally you'll get to a little one that just looks very strange. It's all right. You can either find it, if you skip it, you skip it, but again, doesn't have to be an exact science. 1, 2, and of course, as I'm sitting here, I knit that one, so I skip this one. I'm realizing I don't have a stitch marker to mark the beginning of the round. Whoops. Someday I'll be prepared when I begin filming a video. There's no way I'm doing this over again, and I guess I could pause the video and do some editing where I kind of like start over again once I've left to go get a stitch marker, but I don't really feel like doing that either. So we'll see what happens when we get there. Okay, skip. 1, 2, skip. It's great when you're knitting and you find a dog hair in your yarn. Thankfully this sweater is going to be for my best friend, so she will not be upset if there's any dog hair. Okay, so we're getting towards the armpit area, and I'm gonna, okay, there, you can see that, that's where we started. So I just did 1, 2, and this is a good example. So we should technically be at a skip, but because we definitely need to pick up another one so that the armpit is not gaping, we're just gonna go ahead and pick up 3 in a row in this spot, right? And then you can see, if you pull this kind of tightly, that these two will just come together really nicely. Before we do that, I'm going to count to make sure we have correct and even number. So let's go ahead and do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 47. Ooh, we have an extra. Okay, so what happens when you don't have an even number, or you have, you know, one more than you need or one less, is you knit 2 together or you make one. Easy peasy. So what I would do here is knit all the way around, and then when I get to here, knit these 2 together and place the marker for the beginning of the round. I hope that is helpful. I'm not going to make you all stick around while I do that, but if you do have any questions or you want more information on how to do this, just leave it in the comments below. Thank you.